So I watched Pulse yesterday. Um, this is for my 31 days of Halloween challenge. Basically, what 31 days of Halloween is you watch a horror movie for each day of the month up until the end of the month. And I'm not sure how many of these horror movies I will get a chance to review on my channel, but I will try my best because I do have a life outside of YouTube. So who knows, life might get in the way. There might be a few like horror movies I do miss every now and then, but for the most part, I am going to try and keep on track with this challenge. And since October started yesterday, I thought it would be great to watch Pulse. And before I get any further in to my quick thoughts on this movie, I just want to say I tried to stay away from any trailers or marketing to this movie. And I know this movie is quite an old movie. It came out in when did it come out? 2006. This movie came out. And so I tried to stay away from any trailers because I knew very little going into this movie. I didn't know what the story was. I didn't see any trailers. I didn't read any. I didn't read any reactions to this movie. So I went in completely blind. All I knew going into this movie was that this was written by Wes Craven and Ray Wright, and that was all I needed to get me interested in this movie because Wes Craven, he is a name. He is quite a name in the horror community. He is known for creating two of the best horror icons ever made. The first one was A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, and then in the 90s with Scream, Ghostface. Um, and that was all I needed to get me interested because I'm a huge Wes Craven fan. I love the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. At least I love the first two. I love the first one. I do like Freddy's Revenge. Not as good as the first one, but still I mean, it's not as good. I mean, I feel like Wes Craven's New Nightmare, when Wes Craven came back to direct, I feel like that's the proper sequel to the first film. I feel like if I was to like watch those movies again, I'm entertained when I watch like that whole franchise. But I feel like what works best as attached to that first film is New Nightmare. If you watched A Nightmare on Elm Street and Wes Craven's A New Nightmare, I feel like that's the perfect double feature because Freddy's Revenge follows a completely new character. It doesn't really even follow the story of the first film. As a standalone sequel, it's pretty good then. And then after Dream Warriors, that's also a really good sequel as well. After Dream Warriors, that's when the franchise started to go downhill. Um, and then it went back up with Wes Craven's A New Nightmare, and then it went back downhill again with the 2010 remake, which is really bad. Which I don't really even mention that on my channel because it doesn't deserve to have a place. I understand that the remake does have fans and all that, but it's just to me, it's just I'll stick with the original. That's my one. That's mine. I understand there are probably fans of the remake, and that is all. That is all right. We all have our own opinion on movies. Film is so is subjective. So that is all good. If you like the 2010 remake, good for you. I'm glad you enjoy it. More power to you. But anyways, we're kind of getting a bit carried away by talking about Wes Craven. But Pulse. So going into Pulse, knowing nothing about it, that can make a movie sometimes better for you because sometimes when you hear like so much like negativity about a movie, like when you hear like, oh, this movie is shit, this movie is good, it makes you just it makes you kind of change your perspective when you actually go into that movie. Like if you hear the acting is bad, your attention is kind of on the acting, and do you get what I mean? It's like reading reviews can kind of change your perception at how you look at that movie. So every once in a while, I like to watch movies going in knowing nothing. And After I watched the movie last night, I looked at some of the reviews and reactions that people had to this remake, and I was pleasantly surprised. This movie has like I think it's like a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb, and that's just about the midpoint. So 5.5, 5 out of 10 is a pretty good mark. So it's not bad for like anything below 5 is when you know the movie's going to be bad. But 5 is like I mean is it's not great. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just the right mark. So I was surprised because I really enjoyed this movie. I thought the acting, who's the main character? Like I know the actor. Who is it? Where's the actor? Where's the actor? Christian Bell. There we go. I just forgot her name for a second. I thought she was really good. I think this is one of her better roles. I thought she was really damn excellent in Pulse. I thought she had a believable performance. She had a believable main character. She's probably one of the best performances in the movie. I felt like every actor in this movie did a good job at portraying that character. Like Josh, Josh's character. He's a character that kind of like we see him in the opening scene of this movie where he's like where this like curse where this pulse like infection slash virus has already been has he's like his it's already kind of attached to him. It's kind of like following him everywhere he goes, and the only way to stop pulse is you have to use red tape, which follows into the sequel, which I watched later today, which I will have a review up for that movie. But yeah, they have red tape that at least holds this pulse virus back for a little while. It's the only thing that can I guess help against pulse. So yeah, but yeah, Josh, he has this memory stick. I won't talk about this ending, but the ending. But he has this memory stick which ties into a big part. Like this movie came out in 2006, but for people that do want to see it, just for them, I won't spoil this movie. But he has a memory stick which ties into the third act, which doesn't exactly go to plan. I guess that's the best way I can put it. And there's some effective scenes. I thought the opening scene was a very effective start. And the other thing I really liked in this movie, which some people may be divided on, but one thing to me that really stood out as a positive for me was the color palette, the color scheme, and just the general look of the movie. It has a very like bluish, darkish look to it, like just in color, and it looks really good. It gives a more eerie tone to the movie, I reckon, and that was just something that I got to give respect to because it looks real good and it pays off really well. And as far as the scares go, there are some good scares in this movie. It's not a movie where you go to bed that night and you're like, oh man, Pulse is going to get me or whatever. But like, just for this movie, the scares that they were well built up. Um, there was some good, I guess, suspense building to those scares, building to the payoff of the scares. The ending to this movie leaves the characters very helpless. Like there's not really much they can do, or many areas that they can go to where they can't get any signals. I won't get into spoilers, but the ending I really like because in like a horror movie ending, it shouldn't end all happy like yay the killer's gone, we're all safe now. No, a horror movie should end with a very bad last taste. It shouldn't leave on a happy note. Like for some horror movies, there are occasions, but for this horror movie, I thought this ending was pulled off really well. But it is a shame that the sequel to this, Pulse to Afterlife, it goes in a completely different direction with new characters. I don't even really pay tribute to this film. It's like this Afterlife is its own standalone sequel, and they call it Pulse Two Afterlife, which I don't see any sequel attachment. I feel like it's only name only. Like Pulse is the only attachment, and like I guess you can say the Pulse figures or the Pulse creatures, whatever you wanna call them, the Pulse virus. I guess that's probably the only somewhat connection to the sequel, but yeah. For the most part, it is a standalone straight to video on demand sequel. And yeah, it's a shame because this movie ends the first Pulse. I'm talking about the 2006 Pulse remake. It ends at the perfect note where it blends itself into a great sequel, and a great sequel that we will never get to see. Because at the end of this movie, I can't really say that because that's kind of going into spoiler territory. I don't know how to quote this without getting into spoilers. But yeah, it ends with the characters. It ends. Okay. It ends um, opening the gates to a sequel, which I would like to see. It's a shame that that's the sequel that we never got because Christian Bale, to be honest, I would have liked to see her come back because I thought she's a lot better in this movie than she is in her other roles. And yeah, so yeah, for the most part, I really enjoyed my time watching this movie. There were some effective scenes, a great opening scene. There were some really good visuals also in this movie. I also got to give respect to the visuals, to the visual effects in this movie because there's some really good visual and special effects in this movie. Um, and yeah, if you don't like this movie, like yeah, that is okay. I'm fine with that. That's your opinion. You stay to your opinion. I respect your opinion. But for me personally, I enjoyed this movie, and I feel like a lot of my enjoyment came from not reading people's or critics' reactions to this movie. I feel like going in just kind of not really knowing what to expect. I feel like it had a big impact on my viewing of the movie, and it made the movie more enjoyable. It made the movie more enjoyable in that regard for me. So, anyways, if you have seen Pulse, please let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below, because this is a very divided movie. It's probably mostly hated by people, but anyways, I want to know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. What do you think of Pulse? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know down in the comment section down below. So anyways, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your night or day or wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video. Alright, see ya.